Do you know what happened to Adriana tonight?
No, I don't.
She talked to us. She said that you and Heather did this to her. So that's why we're talking to you two.
Every day, people lose their lives to criminals, and in some cases, these criminals are never caught. But what happens when the victims survive and are able to identify their attacker? In this video, we'll learn about 2 cases where killers realize their victims are still alive by the time they were arrested. The process of finding the perpetrators of a criminal act is not always a straight line. Sometimes detectives get it all mixed up and spend a lot of time interrogating the wrong person. In April of 2006, in Colombia, 17-year-old Ashley Reeves was reported missing. She left her home in Illinois with her boyfriend Jeremy Smith's car for an interview and basketball practice. She was expected back home at 10:30, but guess she never returned. Her mom called the police to report her absence, but knowing that it is quite common for teens to stay out later than usual, the police tried to calm her down. But as time passed, they noticed that she wasn't answering calls from her friend. They started a search to find her.
Has she been through any kind of trouble or trying times recently or anything like that?
Not recently. A while back, we had an abortion, though. And
how long was that?
Probably December.
Okay.
No, it was a little bit before December.
How did she take that?
She was all right. I mean, it wasn't like horrible, like a bout of depression or anything. You know, she's fine, and she's a lot better now.
The police found an abandoned SUV belonging to Jeremy and 2 outfits in it, but no sign of Ashley. With this evidence, Jeremy was taken into custody for questioning as the prime suspect. It was a surprise to the detective hearing from Jeremy that Ashley would travel out of town to play basketball, as though there weren't courts closer to her home.
How often do you see her?
Once a day, usually, and then on Tuesday nights we don't see each other because I got a designated party night with my buddies. So other than that, it's usually once a day.
Once a day. So I mean, you guys are pretty serious.
Yeah.
Been going out for how long now?
Almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in July.
Okay. What if somebody came up and said that that she had some marijuana in her room?
I'd be real surprised.
Okay.
I'd be real, because she tells me everything.
What about possibly owing somebody in Cahokia some money for drugs? What about that?
I'd be really surprised.
Do you know the name Mike? That name sound familiar?
No.
Maybe that sounds familiar.
The police had to dig around for a bit and found that she played basketball with Sam Shelton, a driver and teacher at Freeburg High School, who had been Ashley's teacher in 2001. Apparently, Jeremy was ignorant of any romantic relationship going on between the duo. After hours of interrogations with no evidence to pin his girlfriend's disappearance on him, he was allowed to go, but the police just got themselves another suspect, and they invited Sam for questioning. Sam was brought in for questioning, and as expected, he lied about their relationship. The detectives weren't ready to just let him be, so they kept asking questions. It wasn't long before they noticed the disparities in his story. More than 3 times he changed his account of his relationship with Ashley and what had happened to her. It was at this point that the detectives were convinced that he was lying and definitely had something to hide.
Give her like a hug goodbye. How would you do that? That's not sexual, is it? You give someone a hug goodbye. I think she kind of started becoming obsessed with me. Because like I said, she was calling me literally nonstop.
Because he had changed his story a lot of times and was dragging the interrogation for a long time, the detectives had to find a way to break him and get him to tell the truth. They resorted to using his family to break his emotional defense. Finally, Sam's defenses were broken, and about 12 hours of interrogation, he admitted to hurting Ashley. Sam confessed to abusing Ashley because she decided to end their relationship and eventually breaking her neck and then leaving thinking that she had died. Ashley had been missing for about 30 hours, and when Sam offered to take the police to the scene, they had expected to find her body, but they found her barely alive. She was taken to a hospital where it was confirmed that she had sustained traumatic brain injuries and would need to undergo therapy, even though recovery would be slow. Sam was arrested, charged with attempted murder, found guilty, and sentenced to 20 years. Sam's release date has not been confirmed, but his projected parole month is April of 2024. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please take a moment to do so as it helps out the channel, and don't forget to turn on post notifications on too. On March 24th, 2010, a horrific event took place at the Inslee Field in Florida that took the life of 19-year-old Adriana Zimmerman. The prime suspects in this crime are Tina Brown, her teenage daughter Brittany Miller, and her friend Heather Trini. Tina was brought in for questioning, following the testimony of Zimmerman just before she passed on. It is not quite surprising to find out that the root of this unfortunate event is a man. As expected, Tina lied through her nose during the interrogation.
Do you know what happened to Adriana tonight?
No, I don't.
She talked to us. She said that you and Heather did this to her. So that's why we're talking to you two. Okay. Tina, you know, can I call you Tina?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Obviously know something's up. So tell me what happened tonight.
Nothing happened that I know of. Heather just said that something about Adriana got beat up real bad.
Okay. You don't know anything about that?
No.
See your arms and hands if I could. Okay. And what's this right here? That little scratch there.
This?
Yeah.
I have a puppy.
Okay. And your puppy caused that?
Look, I'm going to here.
Got your chin? Where were you tonight?
At Heather's.
At Heather's house?
Heather said she was going to cook, so I went down there. She was cooking fish and french fries, and then we just started watching movies.
You were there all night until the cops came up there?
Mm-hmm.
What time did you go over there?
Probably just started getting dark.
Okay, so about sunset, was anybody over at Heather's house when you went over there?
Just Heather and her husband.
Heather, okay.
Did anybody else come over there?
Her and her little friend girls were at the house. She said she hurt her hand, so usually we get there and everything is all right, so I don't end up going with her, but she said she was going to the emergency room.
What time was that when they came by, you know? Was it long after you got there?
No.
Okay, so early in the evening?
Actually, me and Adriana were together today.
Okay, where were y'all
at
together?
At my house.
Okay, what was going on there?
We were just sitting there watching movies, trying to get my computer, pull it up where I can get iTunes and watch movies.
Have y'all had any problems?
Oh yeah, we've had problems. The first 3 trailers, we've had problems for a long time.
What's the problems?
Well, lately the new problem is she thinks that I'm the one who had her boyfriend locked up in jail.
Okay, so she's mad at you thinking her boyfriend's locked up because of you.
Yeah, but we talked about it earlier today.
It was reported that Zimmerman had gone over to Tina's trailer to mend fences over a dispute between them, but she had no idea this would be the last time she would walk on her feet and possibly be alive. Tina had prepared for a perfect alibi, or so she thought. During the police interrogation, Tina told the police that she had been in Heather's trailer at the time Zimmerman was attacked, and so couldn't have been responsible. She added that her daughter, Brittany, was present too. The police, after being informed of what had truly happened, certainly did buy that. They went on to probe Tina about her relationship with Zimmerman. Tina and her accomplice had laid an ambush waiting for Zimmerman as soon as she stepped in. They tased her and beat her up with a crowbar, then drove into Ensley Field, where they set her on fire and left her for dead. With 60% of her body covered with burns, Zimmerman managed to call for help, and this was how she helped the police apprehend the perpetrators. At the time of the interrogation, Tina wasn't aware that Zimmerman made it out alive until the detective said something about it. At this point, Tina began to show signs of regrets with head gestures and hands moving over her lips. Clearly, she had something to hide, and the detectives are not letting her go until they find out what it is.
Because this is all stuff that we talked about today at my house.
Okay.
About my tire was stabbed.
Okay.
And I asked her if she do it. She said no. I mean, I couldn't prove she did it, so I didn't argue about it, fuss about it, or nothing.
But you thought she did it?
Mm-hmm. Just because of what people said, but...
Mm-hmm. Did you hear about her window getting busted out?
Whose window?
Adriana's window getting busted out a few days ago. You didn't hear about it?
No, sir, I didn't.
And you said tonight you were over at Heather and Darren's, right?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't go anywhere?
No.
Did anybody come over there while you were there?
He had somebody come over, but I didn't go out.
Who were they that came over?
He was dark-skinned and he had braids.
Okay.
And then there's another guy, but I didn't know who that guy
Blocker
was.
sound familiar?
Yeah.
And did anybody else come over?
Yeah. White guy in a red truck.
You know who that was?
No, he went out there and went outside and talked to him.
And what was Darren doing while y'all over there cooking? Anything?
Laid on the couch watching movies.
Is that pretty much what y'all were doing all the way until the cops came?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you, Darren, and Tina were sitting in the living room. Heather were sitting there in the living room watching movies. Mm-hmm. And when the cops knocked on the door, what'd y'all do?
We were sitting there.
Okay. Why didn't you answer the door?
It ain't my door.
Okay. So y'all sat there, and when the cops came, they didn't answer the door. And how long were y'all in there before you did
We
answer
thought
the
that,
door?
I guess the tape was going out because Adriana has a little boy that's kind of hyper. He said that little boy probably had got that taser and tased that little girl.
All right, but you were home all night. You didn't see any kind of disturbance going on over there before the cops came over there or anything?
No,
You seem kind of lackadaisical about this. I'm telling you that this woman is probably going to die and has named you as the person that's harmed her. It kind of, doesn't sit easy with me that you're just so nonchalant about this.
I just talked to her today, and I told her I never called DCFS on the kids.
Okay. Well, she's probably going to die is the word we're getting. And we're concerned over that. And the last person she said that did this to her is you and Heather. Okay? We're going to go out there. We know what happened out there. It's just going to be a matter of getting fingerprints and evidence back.
And we're here.
Basically, what she told the fireman was that you two came and grabbed her. Mm-hmm. Who's it going to be?
I didn't do anything to her.
Okay.
Promise to God.
And you were home all night.
I was at Heather's house.
You were at Heather's all night. Never left there. Because, see, the story between Heather and Darren is already shaky. And your story is a third version of what they've told us so far. This is a serious allegation. I mean, this is life-changing. And somebody's life may end over this. We're getting told that she's in pretty critical condition at this point and not likely to make it.
Even though Autorena made it out alive, she was in critical condition, and sadly, she passed on 16 days later in the hospital. Tina hadn't expected her to make it out of the field alive, but she did, and her statement to the firemen who rescued her helped the police in their investigation that got Tina, Heather, and Brittany arrested. The trio was charged for murder and found guilty. They were given the death penalty and are currently waiting for their execution day.